If you don't know the answer to those two questions,
Yeah.
then you don't know who you are.
You creating a personal brand really is going to expand your business and get you more clients. People just want to be themselves, and I think the only way to do that is to be vulnerable yourself and be interested.
A lot of people want to be interesting themselves, but if instead of just being interesting, you could be interested,
Yeah.
you establish the connection, and you could provide value. Hey guys, welcome back. Mike Wood with B Coaching and Consulting, and this is What Works Weekly. And today I've got Brad Swonetz joining me. Brad, what is it you do?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. No, I am a photographer. I do editorial and advertising content. I also work with individuals for personal branding. I also have a branding company that we do everything from e-com to personal brands, like authors, coaches, and consultants.
Yeah, I like that. And just to give you some credibility, you and I know each other, so it's not for me, but it's for somebody that might be listening or watching. How long have you been in this space?
About 26 years.
Holy,
Yeah, between so I started as a photographer and kind of just worked my way up through magazines and advertising, and then I became a creative director, and then now I have my own branding agency, and I'm shooting a lot still too, uh, along with a couple other businesses I've got
you're like
going too.
you're like everybody else. Like, how much more stuff can I put on the plate?
Yeah.
Wife, kids. You like to juggle. Entrepreneurs, I think, are funny because I love talking to them because I do the same thing, which is, well, I've accomplished this or I've gotten to here. Now, where else can I go with it? Can I branch off over here? Can I do this? So, you mentioned branding, which is something that we work on the coaching side, and I've noticed over the last few years, it's become much more predominant within the entrepreneurial space. And what does branding mean to you, somebody on the professional side of it?
Well, I think especially when you're talking about a business like yourself, like in real estate or uh, coaching or
Hmm.
whatever you might be doing, I think it's really about differentiating yourself and also um, telling your story in a unique way, and also just making people understand who you are as a person. Um, in the business sense, when I'm working with e-com companies, it's a little bit different, right? If it's a apparel company or something like that, but you still want to have a story and bring people in, bring your customer or your ideal client in to your story and help them understand who you are and what differentiates you from the rest. Because there's a lot of people out there doing similar things, and people want to work with people they like. And I
Right.
think that's the big thing.
So this is different from advertising.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can put up a bunch of ads on Instagram and get no traction, right? But if you've got something compelling that people want to listen to, and then also, I mean, I think it's just especially right now with the disembodiment of everything. I mean, everything's turning into AI and it's not real. And I think this is one of the most important times to really have your own take on things, your own brand, let people into your life and story. Maybe not, doesn't need to be your, your
Let's not
personal
get
life. Yeah. They don't need to know where you
let's not get
live.
crazy.
But yeah, I think a big thing that people run into is they don't want to um, be, they don't want to be, not, let's say, polarizing. I don't want to say that, but they don't want to say certain things because they want a appeal to everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think that's a big mistake when you're talking about branding in general, and especially personal branding, is that you you want your people, right? And you want to get along with who you're working with. You want them to get along with you, and the way you can do that is to put yourself out there.
yeah. But what you're saying is the more vulnerable you are,
Yeah,
the more likely you are to attract those people that recognize it and relate to it. Maybe.
yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it's. I mean, I think it's really about putting out your story, and how how are your clients going to relate to you?
Yeah,
You know?
I like that. Let's go back to, you said the words ideal client,
Yeah,
and I use the what is it, an acronym, ICA.
yeah,
So ideal client avatar, which when I first heard it, I was like, what in the world are you guys talking about? And I got a really quick rundown by somebody in your space that said, your problem with social media, talking about me, is you're trying to put out content that what doesn't offend anyone, that is simply informative, and you're painting such a broad stroke that you're trying to cover everyone in the space. And the problem is you're not resonating with your ideal client avatar. And I said, what in the world's an ideal client avatar? And they said, well, do you know your ideal client? I said, well, my ideal client's anybody that wants to buy or sell a house. And they said, no, that doesn't work. You are the same as everybody else now. And so I went through an exercise, and now I teach the exercise of how people can identify that ideal client. But do you have any tips or tricks that somebody listening could easily go through and say, oh, if I just ask myself these three questions, or something like that, so that people could identify who it is they should be looking for?
yeah. I mean, I think it's one of them is a lot of people forget, is who do you want to be working with? um, because a lot of people will go after an ideal client, and it's not the person they want to work with, and then they get a year into their business and they're miserable, and they're like, wait, this isn't right, so who do you want to work with is a big question I think people should ask themselves. Sometimes you have to work with somebody that you don't,
Sure,
but
sure, I've been there.
but who do you want to work with? What problem? I mean, I think before that, it's like, what problem are you solving, right? So if you're solving a problem uh, for a client that that you have now, or that you're looking for, and they don't have that problem, then they're not your ideal client, right? So what problem are you solving for your client is a big question. And then you know I think another thing that people forget to ask themselves is, what tier client would you like to work with too? Is it uh, is it a small business? Is it a medium sized business? Is it a large business? Or is it, uh, I think you need to figure out who you serve,
Yeah.
um, and um, and then really understand what people need. Um, And I think that all those things kind of help you understand who your client should be. But I think more than anything, it's those first two, like, what problem do you solve, and who do you want to work with?
Yeah.
Because uh, you know,
If you don't know the answer to those two questions,
yeah,
then you don't know who you are.
yeah,
And so my framework is easy, is who am I? Who do I help? And how do I help them?
yeah,
And if I can put out content that speaks to that client, and maybe starts with a hook of, if you've ever found yourself in this situation, or if this is a struggle that you deal with, let me show you how. and then give the solution. How does AI play into all that for you?
Um, well, AI is like, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, you've turned me on to Whisper Flow, which is amazing.
I love it.
Um, it's amazing. It's like kind of changed my life.
Have you put it on desktop yet?
Oh, yeah, I mean, pretty much desktop is where I use it. I
Dude,
mean,
you could write a book.
it's unbelievable, and
I agree.
it makes things so much easier. Um, I think, you know, I don't want to say this, but I mean, it's kind of revolutionized my business, and um, there's so many pluses and minuses of that, but everything from my project manager is called Motion, and it's great for people that have a lot of projects going on. Great for, I mean, they sold it as like the cure to ADHD,
Yeah,
um, but it's
I'm writing it down, so
yeah, it time slots really, really well. So you have the AI actually, let's say I have a project with you and I need to do A, B, and C, and you write that to me, or whoever writes that to me. I can plug that email into my project manager. It'll make me a whole project from that email with deliverables, and it'll scour the dates that you've asked for, and I'll put that into a project management tool and then it will slot it into my calendar
mhm.
according to whether Mike Wood's project is coming up sooner than somebody else's project, or however it's working. That's been amazing. And then, just the LLMs are, I use ChatGPT the most, but I mean, it's everything's kind of revolutionized the way I work. It's a little bit scary too. Like I said, I mean, I can do a lot more than I could without, staff. So there's fear as well.
The
But
efficiency of leverage is absolutely incredible, and it's all fun and games until the AI realizes that you are the problem. That
exactly.
you are the bottleneck.
Yeah, yeah. Which
No,
it usually is the case, right?
totally, totally. Especially when it comes to procrastination, or if it schedules something and you don't accomplish it. We use one on the real estate side that interfaces with our CRM, and I can text it. It'll text back, but it'll plug in, it'll send emails, it'll send text messages, it'll tell me who in my CRM needs to be contacted. And the speed at which I have seen the acceleration over the last 2 years, it won't be more than 12 to 18 months where the AI is running the business and simply tells me where to go, who to call, when to be there, things like that.
Yeah,
With data analytics and the availability of data analytics through all the social media companies, the Googles, uh, it'll go through and scour who in my target market is most likely to make a move based on the things that they are saying on social media. Hey, hey, congratulations, my spouse and I just realized that we're going to have a child in 9 months, and I'll get a text message saying, "Hey, you might want to reach out. They just announced this. They're living in a 3 bedroom, and there's already 4 people there. Great ideal from the work that people in my industry have relied on as generating their leads in the past can be automated and be done at lightning speed. So I, as an individual business owner, am recognizing it, and the large corporations, the big names in my world, recognized it a long time ago, and are trying to create ecosystems to draw those people in and keep them from me. So, I think it's an integral part of really any entrepreneur that has competition in a space, not just to level up their own game and increase their lead generation, their efficiency within the workplace, definitely cut down on expenses, take out people that really aren't. Heck, you can use it to analyze. I do. I use it to analyze the agents on my team and how they're interfacing with the client, how much time they're spending with clients, and it can analyze their phone calls and it can say that, well, this is what they're doing wrong. This is what they could do better. It's absolutely mind blowing now. So I just sit here and go, wow, in a very short period of time, it's going to be exponentially more powerful.
Yeah.
Is that scary at all?
Yeah. I mean, I listen to all the podcasts about AI. So there's a
Geek.
lot of scary stuff out there. Right.
You're right.
And I think about what are my kids going to do, Um, but yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it scares me. But you have to, I do have friends. I'm sure you have friends that are like, no AI, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use it. And it's just, I feel like you have to use it if you're a business owner, if you want to stay with the times, if you want to, compete, you're going to have to use it. But the other thing I was thinking about was that, it is kind of an opportunity for people in, let's say, in your business and real estate, because it's going to come back to the people want, interactions with real people. People do want a sense of community, a sense of bond. And so that's where I think, that personal brand that we were talking about can really come into play and actually even maybe help more and more than it did in the past. Because say the Zillows or the Redfins or whatever, they're not going to have the same, when you meet you, you're like, "Oh, this guy's awesome." Like, I wanna hang out
I
with
hope
him,
so.
right? Well, I mean, I've
Right.
met you, and I
Yeah.
that's the sense I get. So, I'm not gonna go onto Zillow or Redfin and go, "Oh, this AI is amazing. This faceless kind of input bar is so fun to hang out with," you
Exactly.
know? So, I think that's where you creating a personal brand really is going to expand your business and get you more clients,
Yeah, that's where the opportunity lies. I fully believe that. And I think that more and more people as time goes by will recognize that they all have stories. Everybody has a past. Everybody has things they've learned, where they've grown from. And the more they share that, the more likely they are to find people that want want to see what they do. They want to, I mean, I follow influencers that are not in real estate. They have nothing to do with real estate, but they're engaging in something on a daily basis that I find entertaining or informative. I learn from it. I like to, so I feel as though I know them,
Yeah.
and if I were to be in Las Vegas airport and I happen to see him, in fact, this happened to me 2 or 3 months ago. I came across a guy that I follow and I followed for a long time, and I went, "Oh, this is going to be weird." And I said, "Hey, man, sorry, I hate to do this to you, but I followed you for a long time. I really like your content. I don't want it to be weird. I just want to say, hey, it's nice to see you face to face, and good job." That's it.
Yeah.
Which was way better than when I met Marshawn Lynch, and he wasn't very happy that I was taking a picture of him. But
Yeah.
that's a totally different story. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it all comes back to, I don't, I don't think we've evolved that much as a species to where we're at now, right? And so I think we still all want to be around a campfire and telling stories and hanging out,
sure.
and that's what's not going to change, you know.
Human connection at the end of the day, I believe is essential.
Yeah.
It's what people. I mean, there have been studies. I won't get into them, but um, how do you help people get past the fear of being vulnerable?
That, it's hard. I mean, I think it's about being vulnerable yourself,
Yeah,
I've had to take pictures of, really, you know, people that have changed the world and kind of, you know, seem like they would be intimidating, right? And it's just about people just want to be themselves. People just want to be people, and I think the only way to do that is to be vulnerable yourself and be interested. I mean, and so I mean, I think that's. Uh, I guess that's not really answering your question, but in the sense of, when I go out and work with people, I think it's just about showing them that it's okay to just be themselves and
Yeah.
I'm not guarded. I'm just trying to basically tell campfire stories, right? And I know I went back to that, but uh, I think it's just about having a connection with somebody and feel and having them understand that that's the whole thing. That's
Right.
the whole thing. I mean, I think, I've worked for some really large companies, that, corporations when I was a creative director, and and even, on those big companies, people wanna personally connect, I worked at Zappos, and Zappos, is, like, all about the personal connection. It's a shoe store, that is more about customer service than anything else. And that customer service was, "Let's just connect with these people," because you wanna go into a shoe store, you wanna go into, whatever store, and you wanna be greeted by somebody cool and somebody nice, and
Yeah.
you wanna have that
Somebody's
connection.
happy you're there.
Yeah, definitely. And so, I mean, I think if you can educate people with, uh, it's not transactional, it's more about the connection, then I mean everything's it depends on what business you're in, but it really does. I mean, I buy my coffee, I buy my all kinds of things because of the story of the company, and I think it's getting, because the market's so saturated. You used to have, you had your Kellogg, you had your Nabisco, you didn't have choices. Now you have so many choices, along with every other business out there, that the way to differentiate is to bring your customer into your experience and your story.
No, that's huge. I mean, that's the way it's all going, right?
Yeah.
We all want to buy. We don't want to be sold, and we want to have connection. So if you can, what I'm hearing you say is if you can establish connection, which is to be genuinely, authentically you and interested in other people. I think a lot of people want to be interesting themselves, but if instead of just being interesting, you could be interested,
Yeah.
you establish the connection, and you could provide value,
Yeah.
which is, it's a way overly used term, but basically, it if you substitute add value to help. So if I can make connection and I can help you, and I can put the word out that this is who I am, this is who I help. It's a lot easier for me to draw clients that I want
100%.
to work with me to me,
Yeah.
because they know my story and they know that I help people like them. Um, and I could use AI to do this, because I could go to AI and say, "Hey, I'm a real estate agent. Here's my history. This is what I do. This is who I help. This is how I help them. Help me with a marketing plan so that I can meet 5 people a week that might be my ideal client avatar. I'm looking for these people because these are the people that I help."
Yeah.
And AI will come back and say, "Well, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing it? Blah blah blah." Uh,
Which I could look at that as being scary, right? Because that's my job too, right? But I don't. I think, just like Instagram came out, or digital cameras came out, and all the photographers were so scared because, the iPhone can take a really good picture. I mean, sometimes it's better than a professional camera, right? Um, but if you're scared of it, it's, I love that everyone has a professional camera now, because not everyone can take pictures the way the next person can take it, but to have the ability to have this beautiful image, whether it's taken by a professional or not, is pretty awesome.
yeah,
And same with the AI. Like, some people wouldn't even know where to start to hire somebody to do that, right?
love that.
So it's kind of giving it to everybody.
Yeah, it's not a threat.
No.
I mean, if you're good at what you do and you can connect with people and you can provide value, you should have no fear over AI.
Yeah. You should have no fear, but if you listen to enough podcasts, you might.
If you can, if you, I'm reading a book that right now that is all about controlling and being disciplined with your thoughts and keeping the thoughts positive. And
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. If you spend too much time filling your mind with scary things, then life is scary.
Yeah.
So okay.
100%.
So what's one to three things, tips, tactics, hacks that you would suggest to somebody listening to this that goes, "Hey, this branding thing sounds pretty cool."
Um, are you saying to do themselves?
Yeah, do
Yeah, to
themselves.
do themselves. Um, I would say keep your message consistent. Um, keep your image consistent, and put yourself out there. Just, I guess, it's kind of similar to the first two, but really put yourself out there and um, don't be scared to really be genuine to who you are.
Right,
Because, a lot of people will worry that they're gonna turn people off, but if you turn people off, I mean, niching down is never a bad thing, you
right,
know?
right.
Um,
If you turned them off, they weren't yours anyway
they weren't. They weren't.
because
If you try to
you
appeal
were
to
being
everyone,
authentic.
you appeal to nobody, you
I love
know?
that. And
So,
I think it all wraps around if you are your authentic and genuine self, you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to be consistent because you are you.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
if
And
where you
and none of us are fully consistent. I mean, my consistency is a little bit all over the place compared to some other people's consistency, you know?
right, right. Yeah.
So,
The best you can do is always work to be better,
yeah, yeah,
be your best self. I love that. Okay. Well, I'll let you go,
yeah.
brother. I appreciate your time. How could somebody get a hold of you? How can they follow you? Or
I'm
if
on
they want,
Instagram, and which is at Swonetz. I'm at my website is brad at bradswonetz.com, and you can contact me through that. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Um, but yeah, those are probably the three avenues.
and I will give you a plug. You take phenomenal lifestyle photos. So
Thanks.
if somebody said, "Hey, I need," you do branding also. Um, if somebody said, I want to focus on my brand, if they were to reach out to you, you could help them. You can help them with logo. You can help them with lifestyle shots, all of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, kind of in my branding business, I can take you from kinda inception to getting you online. So, we do it all from, the logo to get you online, whatever platform you're using.
And the investment in that is much less than I thought it would have been. So
Good.
yeah. So if
Yeah.
somebody's, I'm telling you, if you're, especially in the real estate space, mortgage space, things like that, if branding, logo, if the forward facing look is important to you and you want to dial it in, reach out to Brad. It's an
Thanks.
easy call to make. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, thank
thank
you,
you.
buddy.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.